Hi folks, it's me Michaela and welcome back to my channel. It is almost the end of June, which means that like half of the year is now donezo. When did that happen? When did that occur? And I thought this would be a great time to do a little check-in for Q2 mid-year reviewing of the yearly TBR that I set for myself. I did do a video checking in after Q1, which was like a bit late because it was kind of more in mid-April than actually at the end of March, but we're back on track here, okay? I have been really trying to focus on actually reading books on my yearly TBR. I haven't actually checked the list since the last update I did on this. Look, I don't know why I didn't do that, but I've just been trying to like read books that I remember that I put on the list. So I have my iPad here, which features the infamous list, my 25 books in 2025. And, let's just like check in on how all of this is going. I'm like very much hoping that we're on track, if not maybe even a little ahead. I would love to have half of these books read. I don't think I do have half of these books read, but I like to say I'm an optimist, so we're hoping. I feel like if I remember correctly, back in April, I was like a little behind where I was hoping to be, but it wasn't too bad. It definitely could have been worse. Back in April, I had 5 of these books read. It's definitely more than 5 now, but let's dive in and see exactly how many I have read. First on the list is The Winners by Fredrik Backman, which is the 3rd book in the Beartown trilogy. I feel like this is a book that I've had since the new year because I got it as a birthday gift. One of those. My birthday's very close to Christmas. So I received the book as a gift and I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited to read this book. Guys, it's been 6 months and I still haven't read the book. And it's because like I love Fredrik Backman and I really loved Beartown, and it's kind of like this huge book, and the previous 2 Beartown books have made me cry and devastated me. So it's like this combination of the book is ginormous. I know it will be emotionally devastating, and then the series is going to be done and over, that I feel like I've been like putting it off because of that combination, but it's going to happen and it will happen soon, okay? Because I'm trying to reduce the book buying right now. I am currently trying to focus on finishing some of the book series I am in the middle of. So I recently did a book haul where I actually bought books to help me finish those book series, and I'm gonna really try and be reading those, which may be hard to do in tandem with also trying to read the yearly TBRs, but like that also was one of the goals I had for the year, was to try and get that currently reading series number down. I'm an overachiever. What can I say? The second book on the list is Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. This is the 2nd book in the Ernest Cunningham Cozy Mystery series. I did really love the 1st book, and I kind of forgot that I put this one on the list. And like I said before, I haven't actually been checking the list, so that makes it hard to remember what's on the list by just using the noggin when like literally the list is here. Why have I not been looking at it? I wish I could tell you the reasoning. I do still want to read this. I think I have been like a tad hesitant just because I don't really see how everyone in my family has killed someone, the 1st book. I don't really necessarily see how this can become a series. Curious to read it because, like I said, I really like the 1st book. And I did like own the 1st book. I think maybe this is one of those books where instead of waiting for me to have it high enough on my want to read list that I buy it so I finally read it, maybe I should just put in a Libby hold and read it digitally. That might help me speed up the reading process, just because I need to do Libby holds so that the holds come in and then I remember the books. Like it reminds me, it notifies me of like, hey, remember how like weeks ago you said you wanted to read this book? Maybe you should read it. Like, I need that sometimes. So that one is still unread. The third one on this list, however, was The Wicked King by Holly Black, which is the second book in the Folk of the Air trilogy, and I have read this book, so I can cross this one off now. And I actually now have also read The Queen of Nothing, which is the third and final book in the trilogy, so this one I actually, like, overachieved. I went above and beyond. I did like The Wicked King. I almost want to say The Wicked King was probably my favorite of the 3 books. I thought it was, like, quite good, and I overall liked the series. I would say, like, if I had to give the whole trilogy, like, a singular rating, I would give it, like, a 3.5, maybe a 4. Like, very close to a 4, not quite the 4. But I'm gonna give it, like, a very solid 3.5 for the trilogy. The fourth book is Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is Chestnut Springs book number 4, and I'm working on this. This is, like, a book that because of my own doing, I have to, like, reread 3 books before I read this book. And I have reread 2 of them now. I've reread Flawless, I've reread Heartless. I'm planning to reread Powerless soon. And then once I finish that reread, I'm gonna dive into Reckless, which I obviously haven't read before. But basically, I, like, paused reading Chestnut Springs after reading the first 3 books so that I could go read Gold Rush Ranch by Elsie Silver, which is, like, her series that is, like, interconnected to Chestnut Springs by the characters and occurs before Chestnut Springs. So, like, I read 1, 2, 3 Chestnut Springs and then went back and read all 4 Gold Rush Ranch, and now I'm, like, rereading Chestnut Springs before I, like, get back into it. Just because I really like it, and I really like Elsie Silver, and I buy books because I want to reread them, and I've said it before, I'm saying it again, 2025 is the year of rereading for me. So, soon it's happening. It will be occurring. Trust me. 5 on the list is A Murderous Relation by Deanna Raybourn, which is the 5th book in Veronica Speedwell, which, guys, I do finally own it now. Okay, the first step has been taken. The book is on the shelf, which makes it a lot easier to read. I don't know if you knew that, but there you go. That is my advice to you. If you have some kind of access to the book, it makes it easier to read the book. So that one's not read yet, but again, like, guys, it's gonna happen soon. Just check back. Q3, okay? A bunch of more of these are gonna be read by then. Trust me. Trust me, this is the person who has never finished a single one of their yearly TBRs. I then have Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. This is the second book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, and I have read this book. I actually read this month. This is, like, a series of novellas, so I kind of like to pick them up when I'm, like, in between other, like, larger reads as something, like, quick and a change of pace from what I normally do. I do really like them. I did find that reading the second book, it really started to get a little too repetitive with the stating the rules of the cafe and, like, the time travel. Then, like, when it's, like, the same kind of time travel happening and then the rules of it are just, like, being repeated over and over to you, you're kind of just like, I get it. So as much as I really like the books, they're very, like, heart-wrenching and warming stories. They're very, like, emotional. I just, like, can't read too much of them. Like, I would never read this whole series of books in a row. Like, I feel like they're made for, like, being little bites that you read every now and then, and not just, like, a plow through it. I feel like you get what I'm saying. So number 7 on the list was one that I had already read back in Q1, which was Adrift and Currents, Clean and Clear by Seanan McGuire, which is the newest Wayward Children's book. So I won't talk about that because I already had read it. Number 8 is The Goal by Elle Kennedy, which is number 4 in her off-campus series. And actually, I'm reading this right now. I have, like, 60 pages left of this book, so I'm just gonna call it read because, like, it's going to be read. It will be read by the end of today. That's done. I've completed it. Congrats to me. Really not my favorite book, but you can just check out my next reading vlog coming for more thoughts on that. So number 9 is also a book that I had read in Q1, which is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This is the second book in the Cerulean Chronicles, which is the sequel to House in the Cerulean Sea. Number 10 is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I am going to be reading these. Guys, I swear I'm going to be reading The Hunger Games. I'm going to do the reread. It's going to happen hopefully in the summer. It is the summer. It's another one of those ones where I'm like, I'm going to start it really soon, guys. I'm going to read it like really soon. I promise. Number 11 is The Hidden Oracle by Riordan, which is the first book in the Trials of Apollo, which I do actually have this like on my Libby shelf right now, so I could be reading it. The problem is that, like I said earlier, I'm trying to focus on finishing series, and like The Hunger Games, The Hidden Oracle, and also the next book on this list, which I also haven't read, which is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, the first book in the Stormlight Archive. All three of these are the first books in series. So like if I read these now, I achieved the goal of reading the books that I put on the 25 and 2025 list, but then I fail at the goal of finishing more series because then I'm just starting them. You can see the dilemma. So I feel like a lot of these might need to wait until Q4 time. I feel like these are end of the year kind of books. I feel also all of these are like fantasy books, and I feel like fantasy is a fall and winter genre. So maybe they're meant to be for the end of the year. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Because I do really want to get the series I'm reading down before I'm like throwing so many more new ones at it, because there's like a lot of series right now. They're in two categories. There's like the series where I've read like a couple of books and there's so many left, and then there's the series where it's like, girl, just read the last book and be done with it. I don't have many that I'm like really just in the middle of fully and I'm making progress and it's working well. Like it's one or the other. And so I feel like I want to try and finish a lot of the ones that I'm really close to finishing, and then I can start new ones and be making progress on ones there, or at least so is the thought. I then have One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune, which I have read. This is probably my favorite book of the year so far. I said that in my mid-year freakout. I absolutely adore Carley Fortune. One Golden Summer was amazing. I loved it. Fantastic. Wonderful, summery, nostalgia, beach, romance vibes. It's like lighthearted and funny, but it still has like a lot of like character and relationship depth. It's not just like this surface level thing. Beautiful, stunning, fantastic, loved it. Mwah. Intermezzo by Sally Rooney is the next on this list, and I have not read this. I have put a Libby hold on. It's just like apparently a very popular book, so like it hasn't arrived yet. I'm waiting. Once it's made its appearance on the Libby shelf, it will be read. It's not my problem that other people want to read a book, and they were better than me. I remember to put a hold on before I did. Okay, oops. 15 on the list I had already read in Q1, which was The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennet. Number 16 is The Martian by Andy Weir. And I have read this book. Go me. This is a science fiction book that I put on this list because I wanted to kind of like push myself outside my normal boundaries. And I actually enjoyed reading The Martian way more than I was expecting. I think this is the kind of sci-fi that is for me, where it's very real world realism based, where it's like this guy going to space, clearly, and he's like going to Mars, which is not a thing that is like happening presently. So in that way, it is like fantastical in the way that this is not something that could happen right now. Like it's not realistically possible in the moment, but it's like scientifically possible. And it's not like this laser gun shoot aliens flying spaceships that way kind of sci-fi. I haven't read a lot of sci-fi, so I feel like this is me judging things based off of like just what I think of it. But I think at that point, like then the science fiction is just fantasy, and I kind of had this dislike in my head for something that is just like magic, but then you're just trying to say that it's like science. Like, just let it be magic. I don't know. But I actually really enjoyed The Martian. That was like a surprise. That was a shock. Fun. Super fun. It made me want to rewatch Apollo 13, actually, because it really gave me like Apollo 13 vibes, which is funny because that is a movie that's based off of a real life world event, and this is very clearly just like fiction. But it did have like the overall vibe matched in my head, and I definitely will read more Andy Weir in the future. I think we'll keep it in mind, guys, for when I really want to switch things up again. The next few books on the list are the nonfiction books that I been wanting to read. Just because I feel like I don't read enough nonfiction, I should read more nonfiction, and I don't, because fiction is just kind of more fun. So the first is The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. This is a memoir, and I have not read this yet. Again, I have a Libby loan for it, so I'm just like waiting for the right time, the right moment. Number 18 is Sociopath by Patric Gagne, and I have not read this either. And I don't think I have a Libby loan for this. I should do that. After this video, I will put a hold on this book so that it reminds me that I need to read it. But number 19, The Wager by David Grann, I have read. I read this book. It wasn't really for me topic-wise, but I did enjoy the like storytelling narrative style of the nonfiction. It's like I like the concept and the structure. It's just that like I thought it was going to be something topically that I would enjoy, and I just like ended up not. I don't know why I did think I would enjoy it when I am terrified of the ocean and this book is about a shipwreck. But look, sometimes you're just wrong and delusional. And I was. But it was still like a good book. I think if you do actually care about like sailing, especially like 18th century sailing and things, this was a very well put together, researched, narrative style storytelling of these events. It just like wasn't for me. The next two on the list were ones that I had already read in Q1, which was The Wedding People by Alison Espach and The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. 22 on the list is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, which I have read. I actually now have read volume 1 and volume 2, and I have a hold for volume 3. These are kind of like fun to just read on the couch on a Sunday morning, really quick kind of thing. Nick and Charlie are really cute. I don't necessarily like love, and I'm not obsessed with Heartstopper. I think I don't necessarily connect with graphic novels the same way I do as a purely just written prose. And also I don't relate to the characters because that's not the life I'm living. But I can like appreciate the story, and I do find it fun and enjoyable. It's just like not something that I'm ever going to be like obsessed 5 stars amazing about. Number 23? Girl, no. Number 23 on the list is Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Malors, and I have read this. I read this recently and I loved it. Coco Malors' writing reminded me a lot of Sally Rooney. I loved Normal People and Conversations with Friends, which is why Intermezzo is on this list. And so I'm glad I finally decided to pick this up. I really like wasn't sure what to expect from this book because I kind of didn't know anything about it, but I think it was really well written, and I like couldn't put it down. Like it was very readable. These characters, like every character in this book is a mess. You kind of read it the whole time, realizing that everything going on is a train wreck waiting to happen, and you can like see it approaching, and you can't stop yourself from just continuing to just read it all. I thought it was like very well done. We'll be like keeping Coco Malors in mind as a author to read in future. She does have a relatively new novel. I can't remember how long ago it released now. It's called Blue Sisters, I believe. So I might keep that in mind for a read next when I'm in like a no plots, just vibes, very character relationship based story. 24 on the list is The Maid by Nita Prose, which I have read. I actually just finished reading this, and then I realized that I started a new series when I'm supposed to be finishing them. But that's fine. Happens. And it's a cozy mystery series too. Guys, cozy mystery series never end. Why did I choose to start this? I at least could have started a series that is done. I don't even know if this is finished yet. This probably isn't finished because it's a cozy mystery series. It will go on until I die. And it was good. It was okay. I really disliked the beginning of this book, but the more I read it, the more I liked it. I'm glad I decided to give it a chance instead of DNFing it at about the third of the way through mark like I was considering, but I didn't because I was like, I've never DNF'd a book in my life. I'm not starting now because again, I'm a completionist, and I did like it, and I feel like the books going forward I'll probably like more because I think with the characters being established that the future books are not going to have the problem that I had with the beginning of the first book, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. because I'm being extremely vague, but that's all you get because I don't want to get into it. And then the final book on my 25 books in 2025 is Anxious People by Fredrik Backman, which I have not yet read because I keep saying that I want to finish reading Baritone by reading the winners before I read Anxious People, because like I own the winners and it's on my shelf, so like I should read that before I go out and start buying new Fredrik Backman and reading that, you know? I'm trying to be responsible, guys. So let's count. I mean, you probably already see it. I'll probably put a tally up, so you probably already know. So I have 14 of my 25 books in 2025 read, which is great news, guys. I'm ahead of schedule because it's only halfway through the year and I've read more than half of them. Oh my god. This is very exciting news for me. This is a new occurrence. The past 2 years, I finished the year not even having read half of the books, like at the end of the year. So to be halfway through the year and be over halfway through this list, it's like personal growth. You know? Speaking of the other lists, I did make it a goal to try and finish my other 2 lists. So, like, should I just have a quick little look-sees to see if I accomplish those? I don't think I have read any of the books on my old list, but we might as well see just in case. So, on my 24 books in 2024 list, I had Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, have not read that yet. The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, have not read that yet. Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer, which I have not read yet. And Mile High by Liz Tom Ford, which I have not read yet. And then for 23 books in 2023, Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, still haven't read that. Babel by R.F. Kuang, still haven't read that, though I did put a Libby hold on it, so I might be reading it soon, maybe. We'll see. And then The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. This is the final book in Era 2 of Mistborn, and I have not read this yet, but I did recently buy it, and I'm planning on reading it soon. It's just like, it's a chunk of a book. It's like almost 800 pages, I think, so I'm gonna need to be like dedicated when I read that. But I do really want to finish Era 2 of Mistborn, and the third book ended in a way that I'm like very excited to get to the last book. I think I just have to get over the hump of like starting a giant book. I have been reading up A Storm in June. I'm on track to read the most books I have ever read in a month. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I'm finding the time. I don't know where I'm finding the mental energy to be reading this many books, but I have been accomplishing so much in June reading wise that I am impressing myself beyond compare. I will never be this amazing ever again, I don't think, and I'm trying to take advantage of this month. But maybe that will give me the push to start reading The Lost Metal and to finish Mistborn Era 2. But that's my current check-in, my mid-year reading review in a way, how I'm doing with my yearly TBR. For once, when asking the question, do I actually read my TBR, I feel like I can answer confidently, yes, I do. I do in fact read my TBR because like I've read over half the books already and it's halfway through the year. I'm doing so good. I am on top of things. Amazing. Fantastic. I love that. So that is the update. If you happen to like this video, make sure to give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. If you happen to like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you. Do let me know down below. Do you make a yearly TBR? If you do, how are you doing with it? Are you on track? Are you way behind? Are you completely done it already? I don't know. You tell me. Would love to know like why you do or do not make a yearly TBR or any yearly goals for your reading. Let me know. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.